हरिः कर्ता।
Now let's enter into second section of intuitive exploratory data analysis for you course. The second section is all about exploring and expounding and learning about four levels of measurement, which are nominal, ordinal, interval, and ratio. So far what we have done is we have gone through the fundamental blocks of structured data, such as the data types. So numeric and categorical. In numeric we have continuous and discrete, whereas in categorical we have nominal, ordinal, and binary or dichotomic. So now let's understand this better. So let's, how do we convert, how do we differentiated, how do we created those data types, and all those things we'll be looking into now. So that the differentiation, the making of data types is based on the levels of measurement. So the, we have the four levels of measurements, and based on these four levels of measurements, all are variable or data types are dependent or made up. So, so now let's jump into the four levels of measurement section, which are nominal, ordinal, interval, and ratio. So let's begin with different types are levels of measurement in data and statistics. When carrying out any kind of data collection or analysis, it is essential to understand the nature of the data you're dealing with. Within your data set, you will have different variables, and these variables can be recorded to varying degrees of precision. This is what's known as the level of measurement. Again, I'm reiterating, level of measurement means within your data set. I'm going to show you my data set. Let's take, this is the simplest data set that I can have. So within this data set, we have different variables as second name, first name, gender, height, weight, country or team. These are different variables, and these variables can be recorded to varying degrees of precision. So this is what known as the level of measurement. So there are four main levels of measurement, which are nominal, ordinal, interval, and ratio. So in this section, we will be explaining exactly what is meant by levels of measurement and within the realm of data and statistics, and why it matters to us as a machine learning engineer or a data scientist. So when gathering data, you collect different types of information depending on what you hope to investigate or find out. For example, if you wanted to analyze the spending habits of people living in Bengaluru, so you might send out a survey to 500 people asking questions about their income, their exact location, their age, and how much they spend on various products and services. So these are our variables. So data can be measured and recorded, and whose values will differ from one individual to the next. So let me put it into a proper way, so that, so let me close this section. I'll open the new section here. So title, measurements, levels of measurements. So here our condition, here our assignment is to send out a survey, send out a survey to 500 people, asking questions about their one, income, two, location, three, age, and four, how much they spend on various products on services, spending on various products and services. So now these are our four variables. So now the data can be measured and recorded, and whose values will differ from one individual to other. So now what I will do, so after measuring all this data, let's take, so these are our columns, obviously the columns, and columns headers would be income and location, age, and spending. So now, so how many people, how many entities are involved in this? In this 500 entities are involved in this. So let's take entity 1, and then entity 1 data. So income some 23, and then location some 43, and age 24, and spending on various products such as beauty, etc. So now entity 2, income $45,000, location, age 34, and spending on grocery. So let me check, let me make it simple. So now this is one data set or data table. So this data table consists of various attributes of this entity. So now how many entities we have, or how many people we have? We have 500 people. So now what is a variable in this case? Variable is nothing but an attribute of this entity. So income is an attribute of this entity, location is an attribute of this entity. So now, so a variable is the name of these attributes. Now these are all called the values. These are all called as the values of that variable. Okay, and then this entity, so each entity with these values are, with this recorded values are known as a records. So this is a record 1, this is a record 2, like that we will be having 500 records. So that's how we gather a data, and we tabulate the data in a particular format to use for the analysis. Okay, so now when we talk about levels of measurement, we are talking about how each variable is measured. When I say levels of measurement, we are literally talking about how each variable is measured. So we have noted down here, we have collected income, location, age, and spending. So each variable will have a different way of measurement, as or no, different level of measurement, as or no, depends upon the characteristics of that variable, depends upon the characteristics of values that variable is going to carry. So that's what I'm talking about. That's what I mean when I say levels of measurement. So, and the mathematical nature of the values assigned to each variable. So this in turn determines what type of analysis can be carried out. So again, I'm gonna put it in a simplistic way this time. So, levels of measurement, meaning, so here we are talking about how each variable is measured. One, how each variable is measured, and the mathematical nature of the values assigned to each variable. So this in turn determines what type of analysis can be carried out. That's what is a level of measurement means. So let's take some examples. Let's imagine you want to gather data relating to the pupil's income. There are various levels of measurements you could use for this variable. You could ask people to provide an exact figure, or you could ask them to select their answer from a variety of ranges. For example, uh, 10 to 19k, or 20 to 29k, or 30 to 39k, and so on. You could ask them to simply categorize them as high, medium, or low. This is the best example of explain of levels of measurement. So let's take this example and write it down. So now, as a part of survey, we are collecting the information of income of 500 people. So income of the pupil. So now, what all are the ways to measure the value from our entity, or our, basically our object, in this case our candidate? So what all the ways that we have to record the income from our entity? So one, I can use four types of measurements here. Four types of measurements I can use to get the value from our interested entity, that is our entity. So one, I can use I can ask to provide exact figure, that is exact figure, provide me exact figure. So this is our ratio. Second, I can ask them to choose from a ranges that I provide. So intervals. Select from the ranges. interval. Then you could then simply you just categorize them their income. So select the categories from the given, select the categories such as high or low or medium. Obviously this is ordinal. And you have one more type of selecting the category, but there without any order. You can simply, so here as it is income, it needs to be selected as some order. If there is no order, then so that could be the measurement could be nominal. That's it. This is the simplest way of telling why do we require a level of measurement. A level of measurements is nothing but these are different types of measuring the value that you capture or record from the entity of interest in your survey. That's it. So can you see how these levels vary in their precision? If you ask participants for an exact figure, you can calculate just how much the incomes are vary across your entire data set. For example, however, if you only have classifications of high, medium, and low, you can't see exactly how much one participant earns compared to the another. So this is where the precision comes with the level of measurement. Okay. So now you also have no concept of what salary counts as high and what salary counts as low. So these classifications have no numerical value. So thus the latter is less precise level of measurement. So the highest precise level of measurement is our ratio, the exact value. You're getting the exact value from your entity of interest. So next, why are levels of measurement is important? Level of measurement is important as it determines the type of statistical analysis you can carry out. As a result, it affects both the nature and the depth of insights you are able to glean from your data. Certain statistical tests can only be performed where more precise levels of measurement have been used. So it's essential to plan in advance how you will gather and measure your data. So the levels of measurement is all is important uh, and essential to plan in advance how you will gather and measure your data. So if you see the ratio, interval, ordinal, nominal, as you go to the ratio, the precision is high. As the precision is high, you can apply the more statistical tests to this and you can get the much more detailed analysis of your data. Whereas if you go to the nominal, uh, it would be very limited. The precision is very low. So that is the reason you need to understand about the various levels of measurement, and then you have to plan in advance while you're gathering, and you have to plan this in advance and how you will gather and measure your data.